Let's talk about boundaries. Are people all up in your space, overwhelming you, taking over your mind, impressing their thoughts upon you? Do you feel like you don't have a voice in your own life? Do you feel like you don't have control over your own life? All about boundaries, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is April, and on this channel we talk a lot about exposure therapy to anxiety and things that cause us to feel incredibly insecure. And today I wanted to take a little detour over into boundaries, because boundaries is not necessarily something that we need to put in place to just keep everybody out, like it's this mean thing and we don't want people to come over here into our territory. Boundaries is about keeping yourself keeping you contained, because not everybody is in a place where they should have every part of you. And so when we look at boundaries as something to a defensive mechanism of walls to put up so that people can't come in and hurt us and bother us and take us over and all of those things, that's a very immature way of thinking. So what boundaries is, it's creating a space around yourself so that you are mentally healthy, so that the relationships around you are healthy, and that it's this giving, life-giving environment for you. So much of our anxiety comes from people around us, from hardships in relationships, from, think about drama. What does drama do to you emotionally, neurologically? It interferes with your sleep. It messes with your health. There's so many health-related issues that are because of stress, anxiety, things of that nature. So if you think of things in your life that you can control, or what you have control over who comes in and out of your life, it may be hard to set up boundaries with certain people. But what isn't hard, and that's what we talk about here, is overcoming hard things, because you are strong enough to overcome hard things, and you're strong enough to grow and expand and evolve into the best version of yourself. So with boundaries, what I want to talk to you about today is clearing the space around you. First and foremost, we have to change our idea around boundaries as keeping people out, which we just addressed. It's more about you. And if you've been taught that you are selfish, all you ever think about is yourself, every time you try to grow, people think you're better, you think you're better than us, then it's going to be hard for you to take those first steps to create that boundaries line. So what is boundaries? Boundaries is knowing who you are and what you want and what you won't tolerate. So when you have people in your life who are inflicting stress and pain on you, you have the power to say, I am not going to take that anymore. And I think some people think you have to be super mean about it, and you've got to be like, not gonna take that anymore, get out, don't want to have a relationship with you anymore. But in fact, you don't have to do that. You can actually just tell somebody how you feel. Hey, I want to have a hard conversation with you right now. Ooh, you should see my video about hard conversations, because I've got that here. I'll link it. I'll put it somewhere. I'll figure it out. But to have a hard conversation with someone, to tell them, this is how this makes me feel when you do this, this, and this. Now, most likely, if you have immature people in your life who love taking advantage of you, and they are with you because they can overstep those boundaries, they're gonna get pissed. Super pissed at you. And then there's going to be this altercation, and then they're going to be defending themselves, and then you're going to be defending yourself, and it's going to go absolutely nowhere, because they're not willing to change for the sake of your relationship, because at the end of the day, they just don't care that much about you. They care about what you can do for them. And my friend, that is a harsh reality, a hard fucking reality of what people will do when you start respecting yourself more and loving yourself more and saying, I'm not doing that anymore. I've been there myself. It is so hard. But the cool thing is that just like with any other thing that we try to overcome here, with skin flushing or sweating or hair issues or face issues, whatever the case may be, is that as you step into that discomfort and you lean into that, lean in warrior, as you lean into that and you feel all the effects of the anxiety and the fear and everything that comes that's negative and overwhelming, then you will push through. And as you push through, you gain this strength and this momentum that maybe the situation sucked, but I survived it. And every time you expose yourself to something that you were afraid of that you survive, you then gain this consciousness of, I can do that again. So, and you're also, you build up your self-esteem. And once the person's gone and the dust has settled, you just have this sense of peace that maybe you never experienced before, and now you're experiencing. And then in some cases, which I have not experienced, I have not had my experience be that most people hang around once you set boundaries. My situations have turned out where people are like, and they go on and they hate me. And one of my worst fears when I was younger is that you would hate me. But the more I realize that I love and respect myself, and I do care if people hate me, but I don't, and I'll be okay, and life will go on, and that's unfortunate. It doesn't identify you anymore. So you're okay with ebbing and flowing in and out of life with people and relationships as we grow and expand, and they're not growing with us, or they try to set up, or they try to cross over those boundaries that you've set up. You just become okay with it. It sucks, and you'll grieve it, and it hurts, but you'll be okay. So some people will hang around, they'll respect it, and some people won't be able to get on board, and I've experienced both of those. So what I wanted to tell you today, just briefly, because I don't try to make these long, drawn-out videos most of the time, is I just wanted to tell you that you're worth it, and that you matter, and that if you want to take the first step to decreasing some of the stress in your life that may be contributing to your stress hives, your flushing, your breakouts, or whatever the case may be, just your lack of sleep and your lack of quality of life, the first step you want to take is evaluating the people in your life, what they give and what they take. And one of the things that we say a lot to ourselves in my home is we say, is this giving more than it takes, or is it taking more than it gives? And is it worth it for the peace that it's taking? Anything if you evaluate what your peace is and what you're going to protect, my husband always says, protect your peace and protect your freedom. And you've got people going in and out of it all day long. You can't ever get a peace of mind in that because people are taking from you all the time. But if you start establishing those boundaries, people who really love and respect you are going to back up over the line. You'll have to teach them because you're retraining them in their psyche. And there may be a little bit of at the beginning, but they'll step back over that line because they love you as a person. But those who are taking advantage of you and only want you for what they can take from you and what they can put on you, and it's all about them, it's never about you. Once you put that line in place, they are going to have issues with your lines because it was never about you. And so for most people, what I've learned is that setting boundaries is not hard. It's the realization that people didn't love you. That is hard, and that's what you have to deal with in your mind. But just take your first step. First step today is just evaluate what I have coming in and out of my life, and sit down with a piece of paper and just write that out. This is what my life looks like right now, and these are the people that are in it, and these are the people who cause me to have this conflict inside of my mind. And then write down, what would you want your life to look like? Or do you know someone whose life just looks peaceful? And what would you want yours to look like? And write that down. I would love to fall asleep at night with no worries on my mind. I would love to not be talking to 4 people about what old girl said to me, but then next week me and old girl are going to be best friends again. Like write down what you would want it to look like. And then compare the two. And then today, all you have to do is just evaluate, map out what it looks like. And then maybe tomorrow, you start becoming more aware of when people call you, or text you and want all the things, and every time they message you, all they talk about is themselves. But when you need something, are they available to you? Slow start. You don't have to do it all in one day. It's just a slow start of awareness and identifying what you actually want. That's what I have for you today. I just wanted to talk to you about that because I feel so strongly about boundaries, because my life radically transformed once I started setting proper boundaries. And once I set the lines, that was my decision. And then I gave people a choice on the other end. Do you respect the lines and still love me? Or do you don't want anything to do with me now because I've put boundaries in place? And some will fizzle and some will draw near. And I was willing to have whatever outcome was there because I wanted my peace back and I wanted to reduce the unnecessary anxiety that was going on in my life. You are worth that, and you deserve that as well. And I wish you the best on your journey. And until next time, I will see you all tomorrow.